being raised in Texas, which is extremely segregated between the rich and the poor, especially in Dallas, I know, and you can have wildly different experiences from one side of the state to the other. Did you and your family run into a lot of racism and white supremacy growing up?
Racism and white supremacy is pretty. I feel like it's noted in Texas, and it's woven into the history. If you think about Juneteenth, and if you think about you driving, because I'm originally from Louisiana, and having to drive through certain parts of Texas and hoping that you don't run out of gas because you know that there's a reality that you're going to have to deal with something, maybe the KKK, maybe who knows what you're going to have to deal with if you stop in a Vider. And I always thought, even with the James Byrd situation in Jasper, there always was a sense of danger. I always felt like there was a danger with your life when it was with police because growing up in the neighborhoods I grew up, when we thought about the police, we didn't think about the historical, things that are on cartoons, like to help you take the cat out the tree and
Mhm.
doing all this kind of stuff. We always felt like it was like the opposite. It was like they were vilified because and people were horrified of them because of the history of black people being policed. When I thought growing up, I always felt the heat of that on my back. It was like this crawling spider up my spine, of constant fear of when am I going to be bitten.
Yeah, totally. It's something that I think a lot of us, when I say us, I mean white people, are starting to sort of try to understand. I don't think we ever will fully understand it, but to hear those words over and over this week has been very powerful. And we fast forward to 2017 when you had your own experience with police brutality and racial profiling in Vegas, where cops used excessive force on you and threatened to blow your head off. And though you had nothing to do with what they were looking for, and yet it seemed like it was pulling teeth to get them to answer for their actions. I mean, even when I did research going into this interview, I can't really get them apologizing. I can't find anything. They seem to have immediately went on the defensive. What did you learn from that experience? You facing it firsthand.
I had a knee in my back. I felt the feeling of can't breathe, and I felt wanting to exist, not to be deleted from the universe. I felt all that. I felt the heat. I felt the history, what it was, the threat of death, the threat of losing my life. And what I learned from that was that as a black man, we really don't have that. I didn't have value on my life the way that every other American felt. And I felt that the police, at the end of the day, they were going to protect their own. They wasn't going to protect the citizen who had been wronged. And I felt like that line, it was a line drawn between protecting their own and actually protecting the citizens' rights to exist. If you make a mistake and you thought somebody was the wrong person, you should probably just, hey, I thought you were the wrong person. Everybody was running. Hey, I'm sorry, but that never happened. So it was like I was just a pawn. I wasn't a human. I was a thing that didn't have a voice. And I think the only reason people paid attention was because I was an athlete and because I was a high profile person. And if anything else, it would have just been swept under the rug.